Yo, what's up everybody? It's I Travel, so I exist, and let's talk travel. Did you know that in 2024 alone, international flight prices shot up nearly 20%? Yeah, you heard that right, 20%. It's getting crazy expensive out there. And guess what? 2025 isn't looking any better. Listen, I love to travel just like you do, but we gotta be smart about it. That's why in this video, we're diving deep into the world of travel costs in 2025. We're talking flights, accommodation, food, activities, the whole 9 yards. We'll uncover those hidden costs that can sneak up on you, and more importantly, I'm going to give you the tips and tricks you need to keep your travel dreams alive without breaking the bank. So buckle up, hit that subscribe button, and let's get into it. Alright, let's start with the elephant in the room: transportation. Getting from point A to point B is eating up a bigger chunk of our travel budgets than ever before. We all know about the whole fuel prices are insane thing, right? Well, unfortunately, that's not going away anytime soon. Airlines are feeling the heat, and they're passing those costs directly to us, the passengers. But hold on, it gets worse. Remember those pesky extra fees for baggage, seat selection, and even just for the privilege of talking to a human customer service representative? Yeah, those are sticking around too. And in some cases, they're getting even more outrageous. I mean, come on, $50 to check a bag? That's like the price of a whole meal in some places. And don't even get me started on the airlines trying to cram us into those tiny seats like sardines. I'm talking about legroom so cramped, you need a yoga instructor on standby just to get comfortable. But hey, it's not all doom and gloom. There are still ways to navigate the transportation maze without completely draining your bank account. First off, flexibility is your best friend. If you're able to travel during the off-season or even just on weekdays instead of weekends, you're likely to find some seriously discounted flights. And speaking of discounts, don't underestimate the power of budget airlines. Sure, they might not offer all the bells and whistles of the bigger guys, but hey, a cheap flight is a cheap flight, right? Just be sure to read the fine print about baggage allowances and all that jazz before you book. Now, once you're on the ground, you've got a whole other set of transportation challenges to tackle. Taxis can be convenient, but let's be real. They can also cost an arm and a leg, especially if you get stuck in traffic. Public transportation is a solid option in many cities, and it's usually much more affordable. Just do your research beforehand to figure out the best routes and ticket options. And hey, if you're feeling adventurous and the distance isn't too crazy, why not rent a bike? It's a great way to explore a new city, get some exercise, and save some cash all at the same time. Just make sure you pack your helmet. Alright, so we've tackled the wild world of transportation. But now let's talk about where you'll rest your weary head after a long day of exploring. Accommodation costs have always been a major factor in any travel budget. And guess what? 2025 is no different. Hotels are like that reliable but slightly boring friend. They're always there for you, but they can also be pretty predictable and, let's be honest, expensive. And don't even get me started on those sneaky resort fees that seem to magically appear on your bill at checkout. Seriously, what are we paying for anyway? Airbnbs burst onto the scene a few years back, promising unique stays and local experiences. Don't get me wrong, they can be awesome, but their prices have also been creeping up lately, and those cleaning fees can really add up. Then we've got hostels, the backpacker's best friend. They're all about affordability and meeting fellow travelers, but let's just say privacy isn't exactly their strong suit. If you're cool with sharing a room with a bunch of strangers and don't mind the occasional snoring symphony, hostels can be a great way to save some serious cash. But here's the thing, finding the right accommodation isn't just about price. It's about finding the right fit for your travel style. Are you all about luxury and being pampered? Then maybe splurge on that boutique hotel. Do you crave the comforts of home and the flexibility to cook your meals? An Airbnb might be your jam. Or are you on a tight budget and down to make new friends? Hostels are calling your name. And hey, don't be afraid to think outside the box. Ever considered camping? Glamping? What about a farm stay? There are so many unique and often more affordable accommodation options out there if you're willing to get creative. The key is to do your research, read reviews, and compare prices across different platforms. Remember, where you stay can make or break your trip, so choose wisely and make sure it aligns with your budget and your priorities. Okay, let's talk about everyone's favorite subject, food. No matter where you travel, trying the local cuisine is an essential part of the experience. But let's be real, food costs can really add up, especially if you're eating out for every meal. Here's the deal. Dining out in 2025 ain't cheap. Restaurants are facing the same rising costs as everyone else, and those price hikes are ending up on our plates, literally. But hey, I'm not saying you have to survive on instant noodles and granola bars for your entire trip. One word, street food. It's delicious, it's authentic, and it's usually way easier on the wallet than fancy restaurants. Plus, you get to experience the local culture firsthand. Just make sure you choose vendors with good hygiene practices. Nobody wants a side of food poisoning with their pad thai. Another pro tip: hit up the local markets. Not only are they a feast for the senses, but you can also find fresh produce, local delicacies, and often prepared meals for a fraction of the cost of restaurants. Plus, it's a great way to interact with locals and maybe even pick up some cooking tips. Now, if you're staying somewhere with a kitchen, cooking some of your meals can be a huge money saver. I'm not talking about whipping up gourmet feasts here, but even just making breakfast and lunch at your home base can free up your budget for a nice dinner out. And hey, don't forget about happy hour. Many restaurants offer discounted drinks and appetizers during certain hours, so take advantage of those deals and enjoy a little pre-dinner treat without breaking the bank. Remember, eating your way through a new destination is all about finding a balance between trying new things and staying within your budget. All right, we've covered transportation, accommodation, and food. Now let's talk about the fun stuff, activities. After all, you didn't travel all this way just to sit in your hotel room, right? But here's the thing, activities can quickly eat up your budget if you're not careful. Those guided tours, museum entrance fees, and adventure sports can really add up. But don't worry, you don't have to miss out on the fun just because you're on a budget. First off, take advantage of free activities. Many cities offer free walking tours, free museum days, or free concerts in the park. Do your research before you go and see what's on offer. You might be surprised at how many awesome things you can do without spending a dime. Another tip: consider alternative activities. Instead of taking an expensive guided tour, why not explore the city on your own? Grab a map, put on your walking shoes, and get lost in the back streets. You'll discover hidden gems you wouldn't find on a tour bus, and you'll get some exercise in too. If you're into adventure sports, look for local providers instead of booking through big-name companies. You'll often find better prices and a more authentic experience. And hey, don't underestimate the power of nature. Sometimes the best activities are free. Hiking, swimming, or simply relaxing in a park can be just as memorable as any paid attraction. Remember, travel is all about creating experiences, and those experiences don't have to cost a fortune. All right, we've talked about all the ways to save money on your travels, but there's one more important aspect to consider: sustainable travel. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Sustainable travel? Isn't that just a fancy way of saying expensive travel? And yeah, I get it. Eco-friendly options often come with a higher price tag, at least up front. But here's the thing. Sustainable travel isn't just about the planet. It's about supporting local communities, preserving cultures, and ensuring that our favorite destinations are around for future generations to enjoy. So how do you make your travels more sustainable without breaking the bank? First off, let's talk about transportation. Flying less is the most impactful thing you can do. Consider traveling by train or bus whenever possible, especially for shorter distances. And hey, if you are flying, look into carbon offsetting programs. They allow you to contribute to projects that reduce greenhouse gas emissions, helping to balance out the environmental impact of your flight. When it comes to accommodation, choose eco-friendly hotels or hostels that prioritize sustainability practices. Look for certifications like LEED or Green Globe, which indicate that they meet certain environmental standards. And hey, don't forget about the little things. Bring your own reusable water bottle and shopping bag to reduce plastic waste. Support local businesses and restaurants that source their ingredients responsibly, and choose experiences that benefit the local community, like homestays or tours operated by indigenous groups. Remember, sustainable travel is all about making conscious choices that minimize your impact on the planet and support responsible tourism practices. It might require a little extra effort, but trust me, it's worth it. So there you have it, guys. A breakdown of travel costs in 2025 and how to navigate them like a pro. Remember, travel doesn't have to break the bank. With a little planning, flexibility, and a willingness to think outside the box, you can still have incredible experiences without emptying your wallet. Thanks for watching. If you've got any questions or travel experiences you'd like to share, be sure to leave them in the comments below. And if you're looking for more travel tips and budget-friendly destinations, be sure to check out our next video. Until then, keep exploring, keep dreaming, and keep those travel budgets under control. Peace out.